June 23, 2022, 2:47 a.m. Donetsk Oblast, Russian-occupied territory. A Russian ammunition depot explodes. Not from artillery, not from drone strike. From precision-guided rocket fired 70 kilometers away. M31 GMLRS munition. Launched from American HIMARS system. Circular error probable, 2 meters. The depot contained artillery shells. Grad rockets. Tank ammunition. Estimated value, $15–20 million. Gone in seconds. This is the first confirmed HIMARS strike of the war. Not the last. Over the next 18 months, 16 HIMARS launches will destroy 400+ Russian ammunition depots, fuel storage sites, command posts, logistics hubs, everything that enables Russian artillery-centric warfare. The cumulative damage isn't measured in destroyed depots. It's measured in operational tempo reduction, artillery fire rates declining, offensive operations stalling, Russian forces unable to mass fires because ammunition can't reach guns, a logistics collapse in slow motion caused by 16 vehicles firing 70-kilometer precision rockets. This is MilFront. And what happened over those 18 months isn't just successful targeting. It's proof that modern precision strike can achieve strategic effects through logistics interdiction that ground maneuver alone cannot. 16 systems, properly employed, change the trajectory of an entire war. The question isn't whether HIMARS is effective. 400 destroyed targets proves that. The question is how 16 launchers firing expensive ammunition achieve strategic impact against military force of 1 million men. And whether this model of warfare, precision strike over mass, is sustainable, scalable, or just temporarily effective until adversaries adapt. The official Russian response evolved. Initially, denial. Minimal damage, then acknowledgement with mitigation. Some losses but operational capacity maintained. Finally, by late 2023, silence. No more claims about insignificant impact. Just tactical adaptations. Moving depots back, dispersing ammunition, accepting reduced efficiency, all confirming HIMARS achieved its strategic purpose. Stay with me, because the detail that explains HIMARS' effectiveness, the specific vulnerability in Russian logistics doctrine that precision 70-kilometer fires exploited perfectly, is going to show you why some weapons matter far beyond their technical specifications, and why systemic vulnerabilities, once identified and exploited, cascade through entire military operations. Let's establish what HIMARS actually is, what makes it different from conventional artillery. M142 HIMARS, High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, American design, Lockheed Martin production, development 1990s, deployment 1998, proven system across multiple conflicts, not experimental. Not cutting edge, just solid, reliable precision strike capability. Platform, wheeled vehicle, 6-6 truck chassis, single pod containing 6 rockets. Or one Attack MS ballistic missile. Fast reload, approximately 5 minutes with trained crew. Mobility is key feature. Shoot and move. Don't become counter-battery target. Primary ammunition, M31 GMLRS. Guided multiple launch rocket system. GPS guided. 70-kilometer range. 90-kilogram warhead. Precision strike. Circular error probable under 2 meters. Can hit specific building. Specific vehicle. From 70 kilometers away. This precision changes everything about target selection. Cost HIMARS launcher approximately $5 million. M31 rocket approximately $170,000. Expensive compared to conventional artillery, but cost per successful strike matters more than cost per munition. If one $170,000 rocket destroys 15 million in ammunition, cost effectiveness favors precision. Ukraine received HIMARS in phases. First delivery June 2022, 4 systems. August 2022, 4 more. Subsequent deliveries through early 2023, additional 8. Total 16 confirmed. Possibly 18 to 20 by late 2023.
but operational employment suggests around 16 active systems sustained through campaign. 16 systems against Russian military operating across 1,000+ kilometer front. The disparity seems absurd. How can 16 launches matter strategically? The answer lies not in number of launches, but in targeting doctrine and Russian logistics vulnerability. Russian military logistics in Ukraine centralized, artillery dependent, ammunition consumption massive.
Each artillery battalion fires thousands of rounds daily during active operations. That ammunition must be stored, transported, distributed, creates predictable logistics network, depots, supply routes, forward storage sites, all fixed locations, all within HIMARS range of Ukrainian-controlled territory. This vulnerability isn't new. Russian military knows about it, but fixing it requires fundamental restructuring of logistics doctrine, distributed storage, hardened facilities, redundant supply chains, all expensive, all require time, all reduce operational efficiency. Russian military prioritized maintaining high artillery fire rates over protecting logistics infrastructure. HIMARS proved that priority wrong. June 2022. First strikes. What happened when precision met vulnerability? The initial 4 HIMARS arrive in Ukraine. Training completed. Crews ready. Targeting intelligence prepared. Ukrainian and American intelligence services spent months identifying high-value targets. Ammunition depots. Command posts. Logistics nodes. Prioritized by strategic value. Probability of successful strike. Impact on Russian operations. First week, 8 strikes. 8 hits. 8 high-value targets destroyed. Russian response, confusion. These aren't normal artillery attacks. Precision too high. Range too long. Damage too concentrated. Not area bombardment. Surgical strikes on specific facilities. The precision is what matters. Conventional artillery might hit area containing depot. HIMARS hits the depot. Specifically, the storage buildings, the ammunition itself, maximizes secondary explosions, maximizes destruction. One rocket doing what might require dozens of conventional artillery rounds, and from range conventional artillery can't match. Russian adaptation begins immediately. Move depots back, from 30-40 kilometers behind front lines to 60-70 kilometers, beyond range of Ukrainian conventional artillery, but not beyond HIMARS range. The adaptation is insufficient. Strikes continue. Depots 65 km back still get hit, still explode, still burn. August 2022. Second phase. 8 total HIMARS now. 16 rockets per firing mission if all systems coordinate. Ukrainian targeting becomes more sophisticated. Not just destroying depots, creating operational impact. Target depots supporting specific Russian offensives. Force ammunition shortages. Slow operational tempo. Shape battlefield by controlling enemy logistics. Bakhmut offensive. Russian forces attempting to capture city. Massive artillery employment. HIMARS strikes depots supporting that sector. Artillery fire rates drop. Offensive slows. Not because Ukrainian ground defense strengthened, because Russian artillery ammunition availability decreased. This is strategic effect from tactical targeting. The Russians respond by dispersing ammunition. Instead of one large depot, 10 smaller caches. Harder to target. Reduces damage from single strike. Smart adaptation. But creates new problems. Transportation inefficiency. Increased logistics burden. More vehicle movements. More fuel consumption. More opportunities for other attacks. The adaptation costs operational tempo. September-December 2022. Pattern solidifies. HIMARS strikes continue. Not every day, not predictable, but persistent. Russian commanders can't assume ammunition will be where they need it. Can't plan operations assuming logistics will flow smoothly. Must account for possibility depot gets destroyed. Must stockpile forward, which creates new targets. Forward stockpiling becomes vulnerability.
Russian forces create field ammunition dumps closer to front, easier to protect. Except HIMARS reaches them too, and forward dumps are less prepared. Fewer protective measures, easier to destroy completely. The adaptation creates new vulnerabilities while solving old ones. Ukrainian intelligence improves throughout this period. Signal intercepts identify depot locations. Satellite imagery confirms. Human intelligence from partisans provides updates. The targeting cycle accelerates. Find depot. Verify. Strike. Often within 24 hours of confirmation. Russian forces can't relocate fast enough to avoid strikes. January-June 2023. Strategic effects manifest. Russian artillery fire rates decline measurably. Not dramatically. No sudden collapse, but steady reduction. Fewer shells fired per day. Longer pauses between barrels. More selective targeting. All indicating ammunition.
But enough limitation to impact operations. Ukrainian ground forces notice Russian artillery that previously fired continuously now fires intermittently. Preparation fires before attacks are shorter, less intensive. Suppression fires during operations are sporadic, not absent, but reduced. That reduction creates opportunities. Ukrainian forces exploit. Counterattacks succeed where they previously failed. Not because Ukrainian forces improved dramatically, because Russian fire support degraded gradually. The cumulative effect is what matters. No single HIMARS strike wins battles, but 400 strikes over 18 months degrade logistics capacity to point where operational effectiveness declines. Russian artillery are trying to that their primary advantage becomes less reliable, less overwhelming, more manageable for Ukrainian forces to operate against. July-December 2023. Russian adaptation continues. Depots move 90-100 km back, some beyond HIMARS range if launched from frontline positions. But Ukrainian forces adjust. HIMARS launches from deeper positions when targeting rear depots. The system's range isn't fixed limitation. It's engagement envelope that Ukrainian forces optimize based on target location. Russia also improves air defense around depots. More Pantsir systems. More radar coverage. Intercept success rate increases. Not dramatically. HIMARS rockets are small, fast, hard to intercept. But some strikes fail. Some rockets get shot down. Just insufficient to stop majority of strikes. The cost accumulates both ways. Ukraine expends expensive GMLRS rockets. Inventory isn't unlimited. American production can't instantly replace combat expenditure. Ukrainian targeting becomes more selective. Higher value targets only. Can't waste rockets on minor depots. Must maximize impact per munition. This creates strategic trade-off. Ukraine achieves significant effects, but at cost of limited ammunition consumption for system that's irreplaceable in short term. Must balance immediate tactical value against long-term sustainability. Every rocket fired today is one fewer available tomorrow. Against opponent with larger military, ammunition sustainability matters. Now the strategic analysis. Why 16 HIMARS achieve disproportionate impact? Factor 1. Target vulnerability. Russian logistics doctrine created concentration points, large depots, predictable supply routes, fixed locations. These vulnerabilities existed before HIMARS, but previous Ukrainian strike capabilities couldn't exploit them effectively. HIMARS' precision and range perfectly matched vulnerability. Factor 2. Targeting intelligence. American and Ukrainian intelligence agencies provided targeting data. Satellite reconnaissance. Signal intelligence. The infrastructure to find targets existed independently. HIMARS provided means to strike them. The system and intelligence together create capability neither provides alone. Factor 3. Russian adaptation limits. Dispersing ammunition reduces strike damage but increases logistics complexity. Moving depots back reduces strike frequency but increases transportation burden. Every adaptation has cost. Russian military accepted those costs because alternative was accepting continued depot destruction. Both options degrade capability. HIMARS forced choice between bad options. Factor 4. Psychological impact. Russian commanders planning operations must account for HIMARS threat, must assume ammunition might not arrive, must plan with margins. Those margins reduce efficiency. The threat of HIMARS shapes operations even when HIMARS doesn't fire. Fear of precision strike creates operational caution that blunts effectiveness. 3 questions from the beginning. Time to answer them. How did 16 launches achieve strategic impact? By exploiting systemic vulnerability in Russian logistics. Russian artillery-centric warfare requires massive ammunition flow through predictable infrastructure. HIMARS' precision and range perfectly match that vulnerability. 16 systems sufficed because targets were concentrated. Attacks on concentrated targets have multiplier effects. Destroy one depot serving multiple battalions impacts all those battalions simultaneously. Is this model of warfare sustainable? Not indefinitely at current tempo. GMLRS ammunition production is limited. Ukrainian expenditure during peak operations approach sustainability limits. American production increases help but can't support unlimited consumption. Future depends on whether Ukrainian targeting efficiency continues improving, fewer rockets per target, or whether Russian adaptations reduce strike effectiveness, more rockets needed per successful interdiction. Will adversaries adapt to prevent this in future conflicts? Yes and no. Fundamental trade-off exists between logistics, efficiency, and survivability. Concentrated logistics is efficient but vulnerable. Dispersed logistics is safer but inefficient. Russian adaptations show this trade-off clearly. They reduced vulnerability by dispersing, but accepted efficiency costs. Future militaries will attempt better balance. But physics and economics constrain options. Precision strike will remain threat to logistics that must be managed through dispersion and hardening. Both impose costs. The lesson from HIMARS campaign isn't that precision strike solves all problems. It's that precision strike exploiting specific vulnerabilities achieves disproportionate effects. Russian logistics doctrine created vulnerabilities. HIMARS exploited them. 16 systems suffice not because they're wonder weapons, but because they match capability to vulnerability precisely. Other militaries face different vulnerabilities. HIMARS might not achieve similar effects against different logistics doctrines. Against military already employing dispersed distributed logistics, 16 HIMARS would matter less. The weapon's effectiveness is contextual. Depends on enemy vulnerabilities as much as weapon capabilities. This is MilFront. We analyze the battles that change wars. And HIMARS changed how Russian military conducts logistics in Ukraine. Forced adaptations. Imposed costs. Degraded operational effectiveness. Strategic impact from tactical system. But only because tactical system matched strategic vulnerability perfectly. The 400+ destroyed depots represent direct damage. But indirect effects matter more. Russian forces operate differently now. More cautiously. Less aggressively. With greater logistics margins. All because HIMARS threat shapes planning. The system's impact extends far beyond targets destroyed. Ukrainian forces continue HIMARS operations. Ammunition constraints tighten targeting criteria. Only highest value targets justify expensive GMLRS rockets. But even reduced strike tempo maintains pressure. Russian forces can't return to pre-HIMARS logistics patterns. The threat persists. The adaptation requirements remain. The strategic effect continues. Subscribe to MilFront. Because in modern warfare,
Precision strike enables logistics interdiction that achieves strategic effects without territorial conquest. HIMARS proved this model viable. 16 systems, 18 months, changed how one military operates. That's not about technology alone. That's about matching capability to vulnerability and sustaining operations long enough for effects to accumulate.
400 depots destroyed. Billions in ammunition lost. Immeasurable impact on operational tempo. From 16 vehicles firing $170,000 rockets. The cost effectiveness is remarkable. The strategic impact is undeniable. The sustainability is questionable. All three are true simultaneously. If you think precision strike has permanently shifted warfare economics, type MilFront in the comments. If you think this is temporary advantage until adversaries adapt fully, tell me what adaptation defeats precision strike. Because that debate shapes future military procurement, shapes doctrine, shapes which capabilities nations prioritize. For now, HIMARS demonstrated that small numbers of precision systems can achieve strategic effects through persistent targeting of systemic vulnerabilities. That lesson will influence military thinking for decades. Whether future conflicts validate or invalidate that lesson remains to be seen. Real battles, real tactics, real consequences. Stay informed.